history of pandemic. Ancient Egypt, the traces of smallpox and tuberculosis on buried mummies. In the 5th century BC, the sickness at Athens. In the 6th century, the plague of Justinian. The smallpox epidemic broke out around 735 and subsequently spread throughout the Asian capital. Many people died regardless of their status, including the Fujiwara forebrothers who were in power at the time. Emperor Showa built Kokubuji temples throughout the countries and also built a great Buddha in the capital. In the 10th century and later, people feared measles as a life-threatening disease. From the 11th to the 13th century, leprosy was brought back and spread to Europe by the Crusaders. The plague was transmitted to humans by fleas and rodents. The skin of infected people became blackened by internal bleeding and was known as the Black Death. It broke out not only in Europe, but also throughout the world. In the 15th century, syphilis is presumed to have been brought to Europe from the New Continent. In the 16th century, the widespread of smallpox triggered the fall of Aztec and Inca civilizations. In the 17th century, the plague became epidemic in Europe. In the 19th century, cholera epidemic broke out around the world. In 1812, epidemic typhus was prevalent in Napoleonic armies during an expedition to Russia. In 1853 to 1856, numerous soldiers were killed by infectious diseases during the Crimean War. A global pandemic of influenza viruses began during World War I. It is estimated that more than a third of the world's population was infected, and wearing masks was encouraged. It was also spread among soldiers and is estimated to have hastened another World War I. In 1957, Asian flu originated in Southeast Asia, spread rapidly throughout the world. The history of fighting infectious diseases. In the 17th century, Antonie van Leeuwenhoek invented the microscope. In 1796, Edward Jenner developed and implemented the world's first smallpox vaccine. In 1854, John Snow identified cholera transmission route by using the epidemiological approach. In 1882, Robert Koch discovered Mycobacterium tuberculosis. In 1885, Louis Pasteur developed rabies vaccine. In 1894, Shibasaburo Kitasato discovered Yersinia pestis. In 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered the antibiotic penicillin. In 1970, measles vaccine developed by Yoshimi Okuno was approved in Japan. In 1980, WHO declared smallpox officially eradicated. In 1983, Françoise Perret-Sinosi and her colleagues discovered the human immunodeficiency virus. In 1986, varicella vaccine developed by Michiaki Takahashi was approved in Japan. The new coronavirus pandemic and the birth of CiDER. In 2002, SARS pandemic, WHO recognized it as global health threat. In 2014, Ebola virus disease broke out in Western African countries. It had a high mortality rate. In 2019, SARS-CoV-2 global pandemic, technological breakthrough in vaccine development. The establishment of Osaka University Center for Infectious Disease Education and Research, also known as CiDER. Starting now, and from here on out, we must think about how we can prepare.